All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to talk about something you've probably seen bubbling up online, this growing and really disturbing wave of hate aimed at Asian Indians. It's often packaged under this vague term, Indian fatigue. We're going to use our source material to unpack the machinery behind all this and show you what's really going on. We have to start with this quote because it sets the stage perfectly. The person being interviewed here isn't just seeing random anger. No, she's recognizing a familiar and frankly a terrifying pattern, one that's designed to put an entire community in danger. And that's the thing, right? This pattern, it isn't new. The source material is really clear on this. To get what's happening to Indian immigrants today, you have to look back. You have to see this historical cycle of hate that's been used as a weapon against different groups for generations. So if you've been scrolling online and you've stumbled across one of these videos and you got that feeling in your gut that something is just deeply wrong with it, well, you should absolutely trust that instinct. You're not just looking at some random person's bad take. You're witnessing a single piece of a much larger, much uglier puzzle. A manufactured hate campaign. Okay, so here's the playbook. It's basically a four-step process. First, you demonize a group, make them seem other. Then, you start blaming them for society's problems. Step 3, you flood the zone with lies and misinformation to make that blame stick. And the final step, well, that's when all that talk turns into something much, much worse. It incites real-world violence. Keep this framework in your head because we're about to see it play out. All right, section 2. Let's see how this pattern actually works in the real world. To do that, we have to pull apart the central lie that's fueling all of this, the whole myth around H1B workers. This right here cuts through all the noise, all the garbage you see online. The myth? They're stealing our jobs. You've heard it a million times. But what's the reality? They are filling critical skill gaps. Gaps in the U.S. workforce that companies are struggling to fill on their own. I mean, think about it. The entire reason the H1B visa program was created in the first place is because the U.S. has a serious shortage of highly skilled people in these incredibly important fields. Tech, engineering, AI, you name it. Companies aren't bringing people over just for fun. They're recruiting out of pure necessity because they have to if they want to innovate and stay competitive. So, if the workers aren't the problem, then what is? And that brings us to the real heart of the issue. What our source material says we should be focusing on. Corporate greed. So this is the question we really have to ask ourselves, right? If we stop pointing fingers at the easy scapegoats, who is the actual threat in this whole situation? And the answer, according to the source material, is crystal clear. The threat is not the Indian worker who followed all the rules to come here and do a job. The real, fundamental problem is a system of corporate exploitation that is designed to take advantage of them. Okay, so how does this exploitation work? To really get it, you have to understand this one key term, visa dependency. This is the whole mechanism of control. It's a system where a person's legal status, their very right to remain in the country, is chained directly to their employer. Instantly, you've created a massive power imbalance. And here's exactly how that power imbalance gets weaponized. Because these workers are visa dependent, they can't just quit and find another job. They can't risk speaking up about unfair pay or bad conditions. And so corporations can suppress their wages. It makes a highly skilled workforce controllable. And here's the kicker. The anger that this broken system creates, it gets aimed at the worker, not at the corporation that's pulling the strings. So now you've got all this anger and resentment that's been completely misdirected. Which brings us to our next section. How is all of this amplified and spread online? This is where that term Indian fatigue comes in. And let's be absolutely clear about this, because the source is adamant. Indian fatigue is not a real thing. It is not some organic, grassroots feeling that just popped up. It is a completely manufactured hate campaign that uses coded language, dog whistles like invasion or takeover, specifically to create fear and division. But why does this stuff spread like wildfire? I mean, how does it get so much traction? The answer is simple, and it's pretty depressing. The algorithm. It all comes down to money. Hate gets clicks, fear gets shares, and anger? Well, anger gets money. Social media platforms have a direct financial incentive to push this content no matter how much damage it does to real people. And that's the really scary part, isn't it? This stuff doesn't just live in the comments section. This manufactured outrage spills out from behind the screen and into the real world. And as the source material makes tragically clear, the consequences are very, very real. This quote just lays it all out. It connects the dots perfectly. Words create violence. These online narratives that get spread around, they create enemies. And the lies create casualties. So we have to be really, really clear on this. When you see content screaming, get them out, that's not just an opinion. That's not protected free speech. Our source material identifies this for what it is: incitement. It's a call to action. And history has shown us time and time again where that kind of language leads. Okay, so we've unpacked the problem, we see the pattern, we see the lies, we see the danger. But just understanding it is only half the battle. This last part is about what we do next. It's a call for solidarity. And if you're watching this and you felt that unease, that fear, or even that anger when you see this stuff, the source has a really powerful message for you. Don't dismiss those feelings. Your compassion isn't weakness, it's your strength. Your fear isn't paranoia, it's your wisdom. And your anger, that's your righteousness. So the big takeaway here is that you are not helpless in the face of this. There are real, tangible things you can do. You can fight the algorithm by sharing the truth. You can make sure your Asian Indian friends and colleagues who are being targeted know that they are not alone. And you can demand better from the tech platforms and the lawmakers who actually have the power to change this broken system. So we're going to leave you with this one last thought to chew on. The algorithms have made it pretty clear that, yes, hate can be profitable, but that leaves us with a much bigger, more important question, doesn't it? What is the real cost of our silence?